Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Bank Shot Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Sunday, December 18th, 2022. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, you can always find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, let's get into it. Here are the games for Sunday, December 18th. First, we're going to talk about the Tarleton and Air Force game. This one's going to be 3:30 Eastern. Tarleton has played a really tough non-conference schedule thus far, and they're 5-5, but you look at their 5 losses, really no bad losses in the bunch. They lost to Arizona State on the road only by 3 points. Then they lost to Drake at a neutral site by 7 points. It's another top 100 team. And then losses on the road, true road games against top 100 teams in Wichita State, Baylor, and UCF. So, not bad losses at all. You look at their wins, a nice win over Belmont, a nice win over Boston College at a neutral site, a nice Power 5 win there. So, Tarleton's played a tough schedule, and they're having a little bit of success. A couple of subdivision wins thrown in there, but I like this matchup for Tarleton as they're one of the better teams in terms of forcing turnovers in all of college hoops. We see a lot of this with the WAC conference. Teams like Abilene Christian, Stephen F. Austin, and Tarleton, all usually around the top 20, 30 in Division I and forcing those turnovers. And Tarleton right now ranks 7th in the country. And you look at Air Force, a Princeton offense that has a lot of passing, not a lot of dribbling. And, we saw last year Air Force was ranked 335th in the nation in turnover percentage on offense. The year before that, 329th. Now, so far this year, they have improved those numbers, but I still know that this is an Air Force team that can certainly have some big problems when they're facing teams like Tarleton. And Air Force's defense, although it's doing well thus far, is still ranked 135th in adjusted defensive efficiency despite that 26th ranked effective field goal percentage defense. So I expect some regression not only from the Air Force offense, but also the defense. And this is just not, in my opinion, not a very good matchup for Air Force. So Tarleton's the dog in this game. I'm going to take the points. I think they're going to win the game outright. I honestly think the wrong team is favored, so give me Tarleton. Next up, it's Belmont and Chattanooga. This one's going to be 2 o'clock Eastern on ESPN+. Chattanooga is one of the best perimeter shooting teams in the country right now. They're ranked 28th in the country in three-point percentage as a team, 39%. You look at some of the players on this roster. Jake Stevens, a 7-footer, shooting 50% from 3, 19 of 38. You look at Dalvin White, he's 19 of 31, 61% this season. But you look on the other side, and this is a Belmont team that could really match that perimeter shooting that Chattanooga has. As Belmont's ranked 6th in the country as a team, 40.9% from deep, and Ben Shepard shooting over 40%, 43%. Cade Tyson, 44% himself. Even Drew Freiberg, 48% shooter, 36 made three-pointers on 75 attempts for the seniors. So this is a really good both of these teams, very good three-point shooting teams. To me, this is an even matchup. Two teams not really worried about the defensive end, two pretty high-scoring offenses. We usually see this from teams, from Belmont teams in the past. We've seen it the last few years. Now, they did lose a good amount of production from last year's roster, but they've been able to replace that through recruiting, and I think Belmont's offense is going to be fine. They're ranked right now in the top 100 in adjusted offensive efficiency. Now, the reason why we're getting value in this game, and, I think, like I said, it's a pretty even matchup, so it's kind of a coin flip for me who's going to win the game outright, but we're getting a good amount of points with Belmont because you look at the records, Belmont 6-5, Chattanooga 8-3. You look at the recent games between these two teams, Chattanooga is on a 6-game win streak, and they just beat Middle Tennessee. Belmont has lost 2 of its last 3, and they just lost to Middle Tennessee. So, to me, we're actually getting some value now with Belmont because of those recent results. I think there's a little bit of recency bias, especially when you see the fact that Chattanooga just beat Middle Tennessee pretty handily, covered the number, and Belmont lost outright by double digits. It was an overtime game, but they still lost outright to Middle Tennessee at home. So I think Belmont is a very good team. I think Chattanooga is also a very good team, but the value for me lies with Belmont in this game because of what we've seen as of late. So give me Belmont and the points. I think this is a coin flip for who's going to win it outright. Next up, it's Colorado State taking on St. Mary's. This one's going to be 8 o'clock Eastern. I'm really big on this St. Mary's team. I really like the fact that they scheduled a tough non-conference schedule. A lot of top 100 teams they faced: Oral Roberts, North Texas, Vanderbilt, Washington, New Mexico, Houston, San Diego State. All these teams ranked in the top 100 in KenPom. Colorado State's schedule not as tough. They have a few games under their belt, but we've seen when Colorado State has stepped it up in competition, they don't have a win over a top 100 KenPom team yet this year. They've played 3, Colorado, Penn State, and Charleston. They lost by 10 points to Charleston. They were a little bit more competitive against Penn State, but they lost down the stretch. It's still a 12-point loss in the end. And then against Colorado, an absolute blowout, 93-65. You go on a true road game here against a very good St. Mary's defense that's been battle-tested, and they're on a 3-game win streak, beating some nice teams along the way in Missouri State and San Diego State, and New Mexico State's a solid team as well, and that was a double-digit win. I don't like your chances. It's going to be St. Mary's in this one. I'm going to lay the points with the Gales. Next up, it's Detroit Mercy taking on Eastern Michigan. This one's going to be 3 o'clock Eastern on ESPN+. You know, this Eastern Michigan defense has struggled basically from the start of the season. They're ranked 353rd in the nation in adjusted defensive efficiency, and EMU overall this year only has one Division I win. It was against FIU at a true road game, 80-68. But other than that, this team has struggled, and they really haven't even had the toughest of schedules. They only have 2 games under their belt with against top 50 KenPom teams and top 100 KenPom teams. So, I do worry about that in this matchup against a Detroit team. It's got not a very good defense themselves, but an even more powerful offense with a guy like Antoine Davis. This Detroit Mercy team is ranked 62nd in the nation in adjusted offensive efficiency, 20th in the country in three-point shooting. Davis shooting 42% himself, and Jaden Stone 56%. So this is a very good Detroit offense and a little bit of a better Detroit defense when you compare it to Eastern Michigan. I think Eastern Michigan had a lot of expectations going into the year because of the big-time transfer in Amani Bates. But overall, this roster, even though Amani Bates is a very talented player, the rest of the roster just hasn't really cracked up to where they need to be. And I think that's a big problem for this team going forward. I like Detroit in this matchup to win it going away. So give me Detroit. I'll lay the points. Next up, we see the final game we're going to talk about for Sunday's card. It's Canisius and Penn State. This one's going to be 12 o'clock Eastern on Big Ten Network. You know, out of the big-time underdogs, we see a lot of spreads for Sunday's card in the double digits. Out of those double-digit underdogs, I think Canisius has the best chance at least competing, keeping this game pretty close, and we're getting a ton of points, like I said. So I'm going to take a shot here with Canisius. You know, this is a team that's played a lot of games on the road, so they are battle-tested, and they played some tough teams on the road. Cornell, Buffalo, Siena, Iona, Toledo. These are some mid-major schools that are solid this year, most of them in the top 200 in KenPom, and they played 5 straight road games, true road games. Now, normally I'd be worried about that a little bit when it comes to fatigue, but this team's been off for about 7-8 days now, so they should be rested, and they should be ready to go, and this is a team that gets a lot of quality looks offensively. They're a good offensive rebounding team, and they're able to force those turnovers on defense. You know, Penn State's off to an amazing start to the season offensively, 33rd ranked in adjusted offensive efficiency, 19th ranked in effective field goal percentage, but not a very good offensive rebounding team. They don't get to the free throw line very much, not really an aggressive defense. You know, I wouldn't want to be laying this many points with a team like Penn State that's not the strongest defensively, like I said, not the best rebounding team. So I think Canisius is going to hold in there, keep this game close, keep it respectable, and I'm going to take the points here with Canisius to end the day. And that's it. Those are the games for Sunday in college basketball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave that like and subscribe, and don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comment section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pickdawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.